What do you think of the Packers, Dad? You watched them closely.
I think they're really good. And
Yeah.
what's more, they're interesting. They're a good, interesting team.
Absolutely. They seem like, to me, after watching the Rams lose, they seem like they're definitely the big. I think this is the game in the NFC. I think they're better than the Lions. They beat the Lions not that long ago. I think the Packers are one of the hotter teams in the league. People don't know about them because they're young, but their quarterback is playing as well as anyone. Is playing about as well as Purdy over the last 10 games. And that sort of puts them in the conversation to win. Not necessarily to win, but at least to compete.
Okay. I think we both agree this is a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like during the super, what they call that? The super wild card weekend?
Super wild card.
Most of those were blowouts, and they weren't games. This is a game. I think the Niners are going to win, but I think this team, if certain things went right for them and wrong for the Niners, this team could beat them. Do you agree with that statement?
I do. What's interesting is the Packers are 10-point favorites. To me, that's way off.
Excuse me. No, the Packers, Niners.
That's way off. There should not be a 10-point spread here.
It's because people don't know about them.
Yeah, they started off 2-5 and people just tuned out. Aaron Rodgers is gone. They're young. I don't know who's on that team. They won 7 of their last 10, just like the Niners.
Yeah.
What do you,
now? Again, I'm predicting the Niners win. Are you predicting the Niners win?
Yeah, the Niners should win. They absolutely should win this game. Yeah.
And if they were to lose, which I don't think they're going to lose, it wouldn't be good.
No,
it wouldn't be good if they were to lose this game because they're a veteran team. They have better players and maybe a better coach. And we're going to get into that later. But they should win this game. But this team, including the Lions, is probably the biggest threat to them of the remaining teams.
To me, they're a bigger threat than the Lions. They beat the Lions. They have a better quarterback than the Lions. They have a better, they have a better quarterback than the Lions. Leave it there. Let's leave it right there.
Why do you say he's a better quarterback than Jared Goff?
Jared Goff can't move. He's a moving platform.
Right.
Love can really move.
Yep.
Yeah. I think there's a clear difference right there. He's much better than Jared Goff. He's dangerous. He's a threat.
Yeah, and Jared Goff, when he's under pressure, doesn't react. I don't believe reacts as well as certain elite quarterbacks have. And I think this kid, the other one, you look at his face, he's never fazed by anything. Jordan Love, he is really gifted, Iggy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's what we got for the Niners and the Packers. The Niners are way favored, but this game could be close. I was on with the Packers insider earlier today, and he asked me, like, what would it take for this game, for the Packers to win this game? Like, what would have to happen? I mean, if they could just keep it close. Every time the Niners have been in a close game, they've lost. They win in double digits. And I just feel like with this offense that the Packers have, they should be able to score some points on the 49ers. I mean, we've seen the Ravens do it. We saw the Bengals do it.
Also, I think if Purdy throws a pick, that would be significant if he were to throw a pick. Again, we're going to compare the two quarterbacks. I'm wild about Purdy, but I'm saying if he were to throw a pick, if they were somehow able to stop the Niners running game, Iggy, I don't think they're going to stop the Niners running game. I think the Niners are going to clean up against them in the running game. I do. But I think they're more of a danger. We've said Detroit. Everybody was saying how good the Rams were at the end. The Rams couldn't compete with the Niners today. They couldn't. As good as they were, the Niners are just a better group. In fact, the Niners are by far the class of the NFC. We're not going to talk about the AFC yet. We'll have plenty of time for that. But they are the best team in the NFC. Agreed?
Yes, and it's possible that, you know, the Packers or the Lions are just the best of the teams that can't compete with the Niners in the NFC.
That's right, because we have this concept which we've developed, NFC tough.
Yeah.
Which means not that tough.
No.
And we may even include the Niners in that. And
Maybe.
I think the Packers may be NFC tough too. I don't think they're as tough, for example. I don't want to make, they may not be as tough, for example, as Buffalo. It remains to be seen, or as the Ravens. They may just be NFC tough, but they have a chance to prove they're more than that.
I asked Kyle Shanahan today, like, how did the Packers pull off their turnaround? They were 2-5. Now they've won 7 of their last 10. What's different? He said turnovers. They just stopped turning the ball over. And that's a big thing with Jordan Love. He has one turnover in his last 9 starts, 1 pick. Brock Purdy has 10 picks in his last 10 starts. So when the Niners lose, they beat themselves. Packers don't beat themselves. So it'll be an interesting matchup. The Niners are going to have to beat them.
You know, Iggy, Kyle gave you a good answer.
Yeah.
It showed he'd been clearly been thinking about it. Belichick wouldn't have told you that.
No, Kyle gives good answers.
Yeah, I appreciate that he did that.
Only time he gets short is if you ask him like the why didn't you do X, Y, Z question, or why did you do X when you shouldn't have, which is okay.
Most you know, Harbaugh wouldn't have liked that either.
No one does.
But no one does. I understand. Why do you think the Niners are going to win?
The Packers, I mean, they're just so young. I think they're the youngest team in the league. Didn't seem to matter against the Cowboys, but it seems like they don't have any pressure. They've already accomplished enough. And if they were to lose this game, people would say, hey, watch out for the Packers next year. They might win it all. But the Niners, like, if they lose this game, can you imagine what the conversation would be? It would either be Kyle Shanahan's a fraud, or Brock Purdy's a fraud, or Steve Wilkes needs to get fired. Depending on how they lose, it would just be catastrophic.
Yeah. It would be very bad. I don't think anybody would lose jobs over it, since everybody just got an extension. But it would be very bad. But I'm asking you, how did the Niners win?
How did the Niners win?
Hold on. How did the Niners win?
By keeping it simple, running the ball, not trying to do too much, not trying to prove too much. They seem like you have a great running back. They can't stop the run. Stick to that.
Sounds good to me.
Don't try to make it a point to show the world that Brock Purdy's better than Jordan Love. Don't turn into that kind of a competition. Just run the ball and win the game.
Sounds good to me.